A client comes to you and asks for a new analytics dashboard. You map out the database, write the logic, and deploy it flawlessly. But the day it goes live, the employees expected to log in stare at the screen and realize the tool doesn't actually help them finish their daily tasks. The person writing the check, the client, has different goals than the person clicking the mouse. A founder might want high-level lead tracking, but a sales development rep just needs to know exactly who to call next. When you jump straight to building an interface, like deploying a generic dashboard, you skip over the actual problem the user faces. This is why developers need a formal user requirement. It forces a pause in the process to answer exactly what the user needs to accomplish and why they need to do it. Software is operated by people. If you don't understand the human reality behind the screen, writing perfect code is a waste of time. To capture that human reality, we use a standardized format called a user story. Think of it as a structural formula for empathy. As a role, I want to do an action so that I get a value. The first variable forces you to identify exactly who needs the feature. Are you building this for a system administrator, a fellow developer, or a customer success agent? Next is the action. This outlines the specific task they are trying to achieve, completely independent of the menus or interfaces they might eventually use to get there. Finally, the value. This justifies the work. Why does this feature even need to exist in the first place? This document shows what happens when that formula is ignored. Take poor example 1. As a user, I want a dashboard. The user is vague, the action is unclear, and the value is completely missing. Compare that to the second version. As a developer, I want to see my assigned tasks grouped by status so that I can understand what needs attention today. We know exactly who it is for, what they want to do, and why it matters. Adhering to this syntax stops you from blindly writing code for useless interface components and forces you to define actual human value. Still, the format is easy to misuse. You might write a story so massive it can't be executed, or slice requirements into tiny, meaningless tasks that ignore the big picture. Today, you can feed a high-level business requirement into an AI agent and have it instantly draft a dozen user stories for every conceivable role. But look at this checklist for reviewing agent output. You have to verify the results. Are the users real? Is the value clear? Are you just letting the AI invent imaginary personas that no one in your organization actually interacts with? An algorithm can help you generate the text quickly, but reality checking the assumptions and applying empathy is a job you cannot outsource. Once you have a clear story, it becomes your literal blueprint. Every technical choice you make from this point forward traces back to it. To prove you've successfully built what the story demands, you set acceptance criteria. These are the strict, testable boundaries that confirm the feature is complete. This document details how a high-level story breaks down into verifiable developer actions. Can the user select a project? Can they save the task? Do validation errors appear from missing fields? If yes, the criteria are met. These requirements govern both the back-end logic and the specific organization of the interface. If a founder's user story dictates they need to fix high-risk issues first, your design cannot bury critical alerts at the bottom of an unstructured list. The interface must visually prioritize severity to deliver the intended value. When you anchor your work in user requirements, every layout decision is driven by a proven need rather than an arbitrary guess. Full-stack development demands total ownership of the product lifecycle, prioritizing the human experience over the simple act of shipping code. You have to continuously ask who is actually going to open the tool and what exact problem they are trying to solve. Translating vague requests into precise user stories allows you to build software that actually matters to the real people on the other side of the screen.